Hey everyone, it's Jasper, aka Amadeus, and today I'm going to show you how to make this sound from scratch in Vital. So I'm going to use Vital for a couple of reasons. One, because it's a free, interesting new synth. I think a lot of people are using it, and I was personally interested in seeing how it worked, getting to know it a little bit better. And second of all, because it has some really interesting properties relating to how you can manipulate wavetables. And I think that'll be especially useful for synthesizing something like an electric guitar sound that has some pretty interesting wavetable properties. So let's call up Vital here. And the first thing we're going to do starts out with the init patch of a Sawtooth. But as you can imagine, a Sawtooth is not very close to how a non-distorted electric guitar sounds. So we're actually not going to use this. What the wavetable we're going to use is called Harmonic Series. And it is somewhere, here it is. So what this is it's a this wavetable starts out. Let me give you the 3D view of it. Starts out with a sine wave and then gradually adds more of the harmonics going up from there. And so what that sounds like in practice is this. I'm going to just modulate the wavetable while playing a note. So here's middle C. So if you don't know what the Harmonic Series is, let me call up a spectrum analyzer, and that gives you a little bit better of an idea. I hope you are somewhat aware of what harmonics are. Basically, if you were to play a Sawtooth, the Harmonic Series would constitute all of the harmonics that kind of give the Sawtooth sound its characteristic high end. So let's go over and do that same modulation again. Hopefully with a spectrum analyzer called up. So just a regular old sine wave right here. But actually, as we go up here, we're taking all the harmonics, and it's just the harmonics of that note that are in this wavetable. So I think it's a pretty accurate representation of probably how an electric guitar sounds. So I like it. Let's run with it. So the first thing that we're going to do is get something resembling the envelope of a electric guitar. So there's going to be some sustain, but it's going to take a while to decay. So maybe start out with something looking like this as our envelope. And the first thing we're going to do is, in general, plucked instruments start out with a lot of high content, and that high content kind of decays. So one of the values of using this particular wavetable is that we can modulate the wavetable such that we start out with just the harmonics and then modulate down to something resembling the fundamental pitch. So let's see what that sounds like. Probably don't want to go all the way down, but I think that sounds pretty good. Already you can hear that it has something resembling an electric guitar type of sound. Not quite that much modulation, but something in that neighborhood. I like that. Let's run with it, see what we can get. So another really cool feature that Vital has is the ability to do harmonic and inharmonic stretching. And inharmonics are kind of one of the key sounds that you can get sometimes from plucked instruments. So let's see what modulating that sounds like as well. Probably don't want a ton. So that I think already has a lot of the characteristics of an undistorted electric guitar, clean sound. Let's add just a little bit more inharmonics by frequency modulation. So if you're unfamiliar with frequency modulation, I'd suggest looking it up. It's a really interesting and very deep subject that you can get into. But what we're going to do here is just modulate based on a sine wave. from oscillator 2, which turned the level all the way down, so we're not actually getting any more sine wave. And then we're going to just bring in a little bit of frequency modulation, just to, again, get a little bit of those harmonics that are pretty key to plucked instruments. And you can tell that just adds in a little bit of twanginess that kind of is something that we think about when we think about an electric guitar sound. So another thing that I think could be helpful is Vital has this built-in, basically knockoff OTT, and let's see what that sounds like. I like it at about 50% wet. It kind of gives it a little bit more twanginess and brings out some of the high end that we like, and that would be pretty typical for an electric guitar sound. So that should be, I like where this is at as far as the actual in-synth stuff goes. Maybe we could tweak some of the put some of the envelope parameters a little bit more. Maybe a little bit longer release would be nice. In the words of Nigel Tufnell, you could go all day, go have a bite, and it would still be ringing. So we could very easily synthesize something like that with this method of synthesizing the sound directly from scratch. But let's do a little bit of post-processing here. I like the idea of a really smooth compressor for this, which would probably, the first thing people would think is something optical. So a lot of people would use like maybe an LA2A for a smooth compressor. Not a super typical compressor for certain guitars, but I like the idea of it. Let's try it. So I'm going to use the Shadow Hills Mastering Compressor optical circuitry. Really nice compressor, picked up at a discount a while ago, so might as well use it. Let's just get a little bit of gain reduction going. Something in that neighborhood. We don't want to kill it. We're gonna have to gain a little bit. Sounds good to me. And now to get a little bit of a more classic guitar sound, let's throw a guitar rig on it. And let's call up something from the factory selection. So, I don't know, something like this. So right there, that sounds pretty damn accurate to me. I would be a little bit hard pressed to tell that that was actually a totally synthesized from scratch sound. Maybe just a little bit of reverb will be nice. Use Valhalla Room because it's easy, it's clean. Will sound pretty nice on this. I'd be pretty hard pressed to distinguish that from a real guitar player. So hope that was helpful. I've really been enjoying doing some Vital explorations. I really like the synth, and it has some really interesting wavetables and properties. So let me know in the comments section if you want to see more Vital sound design tutorials, more Serum stuff. I'm game. Anything that sounds good. So hope this was helpful, and hope you enjoyed. Thank you.